Are your neighbors forgetful? Has their donkey fallen over on the road? What do you do? Pastor Adam, this is Old Testament Thursday. I'm so glad you decided to tune in, check out, and see what we've got going on. Now, I asked this question. What would you do if your neighbor's donkey or ox falls over in the road? You see it, what do you do? If your neighbor is forgetful, or maybe their pets are running away from them, what do you do? Check this out in Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 1 through 3. If you see your fellow Israelite's ox or sheep straying, do not ignore it, but be sure to take it back to its owner. If they do not live near you, or if you do not know who owns it, take it home with you and keep it until they come looking for it. Then give it back. Do the same if you find their donkey or cloak or anything else they've lost. Do not ignore it. Verse 4. If you see your fellow Israelites' donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help the owner get it to its feet. Why on earth is this today's devotional verses? Well, I think it's because God wants us to be looking out for each other. I think of, what do we do when we're in trouble? What would we like others to do for us? Well, if your donkey had fallen over on the road, what would you do? I've heard so many stories of people who are driving along and their car breaks down and they're trying to fix their car, change the tire or something. Cars are just speeding past, speeding past, speeding past. And they asked, wow, this would be so much easier if I had an extra set of hands. Or, man, I really wish somebody would stop and help me do this because I don't know how to do this. There's a story out there that I know of somebody who, was driving along, saw somebody who was struggling on the side of the road, and they said, well, if that was me, I would sure like somebody to come along and help me. So they stopped and helped that person. I think what God is trying to convey is not just real specific things, but he's trying to convey an idea to the nation of Israel, to the Israelites of let's help each other. And I think that's what Jesus is getting at when he talks about the Good Samaritan. It might not be a donkey on the side of the road, or it might not be, your neighbor's forgetful and left their coat at your house. But what Jesus is getting at is to treat your neighbor as yourself. If you were an Israelite in this time and your sheep were straying away from you, wouldn't you like it if your neighbor found them, kept them, took care of them, and then eventually when you came over and they gave it back to you? What if it was you who was riding along the path on your donkey and it had fallen over and couldn't get back up? Wouldn't you like your neighbor to come help you instead of just walking on by? I think, as these are specifics, I think the idea that God is trying to get across to us is to love our neighbor as ourself. So go and love your neighbor as yourself and keep an eye out for your neighbor's straying animals, cloaks. Maybe their donkey fell over in the road. Go do unto others as you would like done to you. I'm Pastor Adam. This is Old Testament Thursday. I'll see you next time.